Moving on to question number 2. Are you an early bird or night owl?
It's changed. I'm definitely
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to 5 with T5. We're bringing local business owners, community champions, and all-around amazing individuals on to learn about them, their stories, or business in a quick and effective way. My name is Stephen Turnbull with T5 Insurance, your host, and I'm joined by our guest today, Andria Heath, the Executive Director of the Utica Zoo. If you're joining us for the first time, we're going to start the clock with 5 rapid-fire questions to get to know our guest, and then we'll get into learning a little bit more about the zoo and Andria. How are you today? Thanks again for joining us.
doing well. That was an easy question number 1.
Question number 1. We're going to dive right into it. This is the first 5. Here we go. Question number 1. Describe a skill or hobby that you've always wanted to learn but have never executed. What's the first thing that comes to mind? What is it?
Gardening.
Oh,
I
like that.
To create beauty in the yard.
I like that. And that is a skill or hobby, because I was gifted a plant when I first started from my mother-in-law and started in business. A little plant, be nice to keep in the office, all of that. And it lasted about 3 weeks. So not my skill set, that's for sure. Moving on to question number 2. Are you an early bird or night owl?
It's changed. I'm definitely an early bird. I get up and ready to go.
Perfect. That has changed for me as well. All right. This is a little different question. If you could only wear one color the rest of your life, what would the color be?
My husband would be mad if I say black, but I do like black.
I like black too. I don't blame you. And question number 4. We're moving right through these. What daily habit or routine keeps you grounded and focused?
I read a little bit every night before I go to bed. It helps me sleep. It just unwinds me. I get into someone else's story for a little while. So I definitely read every night before I go to sleep.
I think that's something too, because I've started to do that and try to be more intentional about that. But once you're more intentional and can make it a habit, it can truly make a difference. You know, let you unplug from everything in the crazy world, your crazy day. I love that. Last question. This might be the hardest one. For Andria Heath, cake or ice cream? Got to pick one.
Ice cream, especially soft serve in the summer.
Perfect. I think this is episode 16, 17, and we're at about the 2.5 minute mark. I think you have the record for the quickest 5-minute question, so that is perfect. Andria,
okay,
let's learn a little bit more about you and the zoo and all the exciting things you have going on. Again, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us here today. Before we get into the zoo and all that, tell us about Andria. How'd you get to where you were today? What should people know and all that good stuff?
Well, that's a quick, not a quick answer, but a fun answer. I never knew that I would work at a zoo as the executive director. I've only owned a cat, a dog, and a parakeet in my life. And I don't take care of the animals. We have amazing people here who do. But the job of executive director is one that I've done in a few organizations, and I think that's what brought me here to the zoo. I was the director of the Rape Crisis, Domestic Violence, and Child Sexual Abuse program here with the YWCA back in the late 80s into 97. I did that for 10 years. And then I was executive director for the American Red Cross, both first Herkimer County, and then we merged and covered Oneida County as well, except for Rome. And that was for 14 years. And then I came to the zoo. And they're very similar positions. I love community engagement, working with donors. I love working with boards. I love to collaborate. And I really love that the Utica Zoo makes an economic impact to our community, greater Mohawk Valley region and beyond.
Yeah. I want to take this opportunity too to maybe just talk about everything that you have going on at the zoo, because I know we've worked on some events together for raising money for the zoo and different things over the last couple of years. But growing up in this area myself, born and raised here, going to the zoo growing up, and then working into the professional community, starting to give back more to the zoo, work on some events with the zoo. Once I started to do that in a professional capacity, I was amazed how many things that I didn't know about as far as what you guys do, so let's talk about some of those things that you do on a daily basis that people may just not know about.
All right. Thank you. This is a great opportunity. I love doing this. So I came here in 2011 and I walked around with rosy colored glasses my first couple of years. I just thought everything was great. I didn't really know any better, and everything wasn't really great. It was better than it had been, but we still had and have work to do. We have grown a lot in the last decade. We've added habitats. We've improved we call it modern zoological practices. So we've improved, our habitats, the visitor experience, the grounds, the buildings, our social media, it's just all improved. I'm probably our worst critic, though. I take it to heart. I just want everything I get impatient. I would love to just be able to snap my fingers and just address every single thing and help us to live up to our amazing potential that we have. But things take time. This year is incredibly important for us because we are working on our accreditation for the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. And what I really love about our community is they get it. They actually know how important our accreditation is. It's the gold standard in our industry, and there are hundreds of standards that we must meet. And so right now, even if I look out, we're just opening for the day, but I've been here since early hours, and we have so many contractors in here right now. It's very costly. We can't do it all, but every year we try to do a lot, and this year we're doing a ton. So once the green leaves come back from, and start up, the zoo immediately looks beautiful just because we're such an urban forest right here, in the center of the city.
Sure.
But we have a lot going on right now. Paving, new doors, electrical upgrades, fencing upgrades, aesthetic. One really cool thing that we're doing is we reached out to about 50 of our local nurseries and landscaping companies to ask for just a modest donation from each one of them, knowing that together we could do a lot. And the immediate response it just blew my mind. It was so great. So we're going to have, the botanical garden type of effect that we know we can achieve this year. So we just ask people to continue to support us. People are surprised when they hear that a city this size has a zoo. We're a not-for-profit. We do receive, we're grateful for $300,000 a year from the county and some physical support from the city. And then we get one state grant for about $90,000. But other than that, our $3 million a year budget is completely raised through admission, gift shops, events, donors, the things that we do on a daily basis for business to bring in funds.
Yeah, I want to get into all that because I think you guys do a great job with the events, which raise a lot of money to make everything happen. Right, they're part of what you guys do. But I don't want to brush over the fact of the accreditation. I'm currently on the board of the Greater Utica Chamber, who just got their 5-star accreditation.
Yes.
And although I was not directly involved in helping get that going and on that committee or whatever, I just know of the work and the tired hours that go into what that needs to be accredited. And I know in every different space there's different requirements, but tell us a little bit about that and what that means for a city of our size to not only have the zoo that we do, but to be accredited and all that different things, and what that gets you, and expand a little bit more on that if you can.
So first of all, it's an amazing benefit to our members because there's a reciprocal element that when you're a member of the Utica Zoo, you can show your membership card at hundreds of zoos and aquariums around the country, and you can get in either completely free, 50% discount, etc. So that's great for our members. For us, it really is about being able to acquire animals in a way that we know the animals are coming from quality places with great health. We care very much about the history of animals so that we can continue with conservation measures. We don't want to have any breeding going on if there's not a good history of an animal's background, so that we make sure we're not doing any kind of too close, in familial, species in breeding. There's legislation throughout the country, federal legislation, that eventually will make it so that places that are not accredited might not be able to get big cats, the big cat law. It's a congressional law that was passed a couple of years ago. We have the wealth of information just with the click of a button for email. I'm attached to 200. So here's the fact. There's about 2,800 animal entities in the country: zoos, aquariums, wild animal parks, sanctuaries, etc. Only 237 of those 2,800 are accredited. And that's us right here in Utica, New York.
So cool.
It's very cool. And so I can press a button and I can email, Animal Kingdom, San Diego Zoo, St. Louis Zoo, or smaller zoos like us around the country with a question. I don't have to reinvent wheels. Our staff can, hey, we're looking at, adding a new habitat for pheasants. What do we need to have for the structure, the substrate, etc.? And they can just reach out to experts around the country, people that they work with every day, and get answers. That is a wealth of promise for the Mohawk Valley to be able to continuously improve.
Yeah, it just taps you into a whole different circle of people that can help you continue expand and do great things. Let's talk about some of the events. So I know you guys do a lot of events for fundraising, like you said. You have some support from some outside organizations there, but mainly the events help you keep the lights on, right? They help you be able to do what you do every day. So what are those events, and how do you guys operate those?
So one more thing about accreditation, and it's actually an event. We're actually having our inspection. That's what happens every 5 years. We already supplied our very, very intensive application in February, but now we have 3 folks coming from major zoos in the country on June 19th through the 21st. It's a big 3-day inspection that everything is looked at, everything's examined and needs to qualify for this accreditation. So that's a big thing for us in June, and that's a kind of like what we're all gearing up for. However, we also have Wine in the Wilderness on June 1st, which is in just a couple of weeks. So
put it all into June.
yeah. And it's always the first Saturday. And we got some feedback over the last couple of years that our tickets were just too high, because at Wine in the Wilderness, the wine tasting really is a tasting at each winery station. And then people usually buy a bottle of wine. So we actually rewound our price point from $50, $45 to $50, depending on if you bought it in advance and if you're a member, back to $30, $35, or $40, depending, again, if you are a member, if you buy it in advance. So if you're a member and want to buy an advance ticket, it's a deal. This year, Last Left is our music, is our band. So we're pretty psyched about that. We have great wineries. The zoo's going to be beautiful. It's just a nice way to enjoy the zoo in the evening. We have family events throughout the year too, extravaganza, Easter, spectacular. But for your audience right now, I'll also talk about Brewfest, which is always the first Saturday of August. Gary Munchink founded that. It's the 25th year this year. It's going to be amazing. He does such a great job. So please come on out for Brewfest. And then I have to tell you that we are bringing back Bourbon and Blues. It's an event that we only held once in 2019. Yeah, and so many people are excited. We only held the event in 2019, and then COVID occurred. But Big Mike from Total Solutions is the presenting sponsor. He's our master distillery sponsor. And he met with us in January and said, what's it going to take? Let's bring back Bourbon and Blues. And we have this new building at the front of the zoo. If your listeners haven't seen it yet, it has been a game changer for us.
Gorgeous.
It's a great event center, right? It's gorgeous. So Bourbon and Blues, September 26th from 6 to 9. It's a Thursday night. We're going to have hand-rolled cigars in the cigar area. We'll have bourbon and other high-end spirits. Jeff Stone is our caterer, and he's excited to bring a gorgeous presentation and amazing food and drink. We're having live music by Tom Nitty and Ashley Bryant, who were on The Voice.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Sacco is going to be our auctioneer, and we're going to auction off, it's very unique. We don't often do it. We're going to auction off animal art that was made by our animals here at the zoo. And so it's just going to be a beautiful evening at the Utica Zoo. We'll have it spread around a little bit between our event center and our pavilion. And we just encourage, it's limited tickets, 250. It's a higher end event for us. And we would love to see so many of your folks listening join us that night.
Now, this episode will probably come out a little bit after that point, because we pre-recorded these. So I want to just make a point about that. But these events, those main staple events, I know the Bourbon and Blues is back, but those main staple events are things that folks can look forward to every year, right? Wine in the Wilderness.
Right. And even Bourbon and Blues. We're planning on Bourbon and Blues to become an annual event again. Yes.
Fantastic. Andrea, as we look to wrap this up, I want to ask one question. What is, for people that are watching, what is like one takeaway that you want folks to know about the Utica Zoo, whether it be maybe a misconception or something that you just always think, man, I wish I could get this message out stronger and louder?
We are a private not-for-profit, so donations really truly support us. We have exotic and domestic animals, and it really is a gem to have this zoo in the city. It doesn't just happen. It takes a lot to keep us here. And so I just urge people to visit us, support us, talk good about us, give us support and love.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for doing this. How can people follow the zoo's journey? I know you guys are very active on social media, all that stuff. If they have any questions for you or something about the event, what's the best way to get plugged in with everything you have going on?
Yeah, follow our social media, scroll back a little bit, see some of our previous stories, and then always uticazoo.org is our website. Or, if you see me in the grocery store, ask me questions.
And you must go check out that new building. It is beautiful. Congratulations.
And our baby gibbon and our otters. Those are two of the attractions right now. Our baby gibbon is adorable, and our otters. Awesome. And everything.
Well, everybody, with the summer nights we have coming up, the beautiful summer days, make sure to go check out Andria and everybody at the Utica Zoo. You have one more thing?
On Thursday nights, too. Thursday nights in July and August, Sunset Sips. We're open till 7. We have live music every Thursday night.
Thursday nights. Perfect. Well, Andrew, thank you again for being here. We really appreciate it. Everybody, that is a wrap for today's episode of 5 with T5. Hope you enjoyed this conversation with Andrea from Utica Zoo. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel and Facebook page at T5 Insurance for all the 5 with T5 episodes. Until next time, remember the power of connection and learning from one another is what makes our community thrive. Most importantly, remember to make an impact in someone's life today, even if that's your own. Stephen Turnbull here with T5 Insurance. We'll see you next week. Take care.